Shalom family. As you all know, a lot of truth channels get knocked down from time to time. When you're on a network that does not belong to you, those kind of things can happen. And so what we've decided to do in the event that that happens is we have other channels that are established, but they're more geared towards other things. And what I'm going to be doing, I'll still be uploading to this channel here, but I'm going to start concentrating more of my efforts on some of our other channels, especially the ones dealing with education and business, because we've heard so many of these messages about what the world is doing to our people and what is taking place and all of this other stuff, and we're going to keep on hearing them. You see, not saying that I won't touch on those anymore, but I think it's time for me to concentrate more efforts on those other things too, because our children, they need to be prepared for this world, and in order to do that, we have to equip them mentally and spiritually, you see. So that starts with the basic levels of education first, and then we pass them on to the next phase, which is self-sufficiency, being able to take care of yourself and to navigate in this present world, and being able to roll with the punches and go with the flow. You see, we don't want our children to fall apart when the economy crashes. You see, we had a conversation with our children the other day, and we said, I know we have some older children, but we asked them, we said, what would you all do if mommy and daddy were to drop dead today? I was just interested to know what their responses would be, especially the older children. And so we want to start preparing our children for the future, you see. And for me, the future is now. What we do now is going to prepare them for the future. And so we're going to be concentrating more of our efforts on those things, you see. Frankly, I'm kind of getting tired of beating the drum of violence against blacks, and we hear that constantly. We see it happening. Not saying that I won't ever talk about those things again, but I am saying that we need to focus on preparing the future generations for this world, because unfortunately they too fall under that violence that we see being perpetrated against our people. And so we want to give them alternative ways of dealing with situations and how to deal with things more effectively, because our angers and hunching our shoulders and all of this other stuff and our marching and all of this different stuff, our kids don't need to keep on seeing that kind of stuff, because it ain't getting nothing accomplished. Any of you who have seen some of my past videos or any of our broadcasts that we do on our ministry channel, you already know how we feel about certain things, and that all of the stuff that we do is really a waste of time, because we are people who lack knowledge, you see, and we lack understanding, and we lack wisdom in many areas. And I'm not saying that's every last one of us. I'm just saying in general, we lack those things. And so when you have a lack of knowledge, you don't know how to deal with every situation. And so we're going to be devising a way to help our children to learn how to focus on the future. And again, the future is now. So what you do now is going to determine what your future is like. And the best way we can do this for our children is through education. And when I say education, I'm not just talking about what's given out at the public food system. I'm talking about some serious stuff. I'm talking about land development, purchasing assets instead of liabilities. I'm talking about wealth, and of course, math is a big part of that. Sharpen up on your math skills so can't nobody be ripping you off down the road. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how to read so words ain't going over your head. You see, all the practical things. And of course, one of my favorites is how to grow food. You see, they don't teach that kind of stuff in the public food system. They teach you how to get along in their system, their governmental system, joining the army, and civics and social studies, which is navigating through their system. Okay, I think it's very important that they do know these things and how to navigate through their system or this system, but it's also very important that we know how to navigate through this system properly, armed with the proper knowledge. And I don't think no child is too young to learn these things. Whenever we have our family teaching sessions, even the little ones are sitting there soaking up all of that information, and as they grow, they're going to understand why mommy and daddy said A, B, C. You see, a lot of times we we as people, we keep our children out of the loop on very important things. And we need to bring them in the loop. They need to know what's going on in the Middle East, in Africa, in South America, in America. They need to know what's going on in the government. They need to know what's going on in the financial world. They need to understand all of these things, banking, food and agriculture. They need to know as much as they can about this. I can't call it a healthcare system, disease care system. They need to know what's going on with all of that. And to me, that type of education is more powerful than anything you can give them. Now, we do teach our children algebra and things of that nature, in which some of the projects that we're going to be working on is for parents who want to educate their children at home, but they need some teaching aids. We are going to work on some things of that nature. Now, for years, we've had a homeschool site where we've put together so many pages of workbooks and worksheets that I can't even begin to count all of what we've done, but we're going to revamp that. And we're going to bring some of that on video, because one thing when I've talked to some parents, they've actually expressed that if they had videos or DVDs or something like that to help them explain certain things to their children, that would be a blessing to them. And so we said, you know what, we're gonna put some time and effort into doing just that, as much as we can, as quickly as we can. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to be, posting as much on this channel, because, again, when you deal with controversial topics all the time, people don't like it. And so we don't know if this channel will always be here. But in the meantime, we're going to work on some of our other channels where we're going to be dealing with real education and business. We've had a few business conferences here and there, but we want to get more in depth in those things and be able to answer some questions for those of you who are serious about business. We've already determined, me and my husband, we've already said that we ain't gonna be wasting our time with nobody who ain't serious, because a lot of times our people do a lot of talk, but they don't like to do the walk, you see. And everything I've done in business, I like to be serious in. I remember starting my very first business when I was 13 years old. I'm an artist, and so I used to go from door to door. As shy as I was back then, I used to go from door to door selling my paintings, or telling people, look, I can paint any picture you want me to for X amount of dollars, whatever I was charging back then. So I've always had that business thing in me, and I kicked all shyness out of the door when it came to business. But anyway, I'm not going to be too much longer on this video. I just wanted to give you all the heads up on our plans for the next few months. Of course, you know that we're still working on a couple of documentary projects. White It Out 4 is scheduled to be released hopefully by the end of this year, which is in a few days. We've gotten a lot of the pieces all ready together and wrapped up, and we're going to blend it all together to make one documentary. And then White It Out Part 5 is a work in progress. We have, I would say, half of it done. Now, the reason I say half is because, about half, not quite half, but about half of it done. Anyone who saw the press release or saw us talking about it on our broadcast, we informed you all that it's probably going to be a 4-hour documentary. And so we've gotten close to half of that done for White It Out Part 4. The reason why we wanted to go so long on that one is because generational curses is something that you can continue on and on and on with information about that subject as it relates to so-called black people. So that one is scheduled for release in 2016. I'm not going to give any particular month, but we know it's going to be in the earlier part of the year. It's not going to go into the latter part of the year, because we're going to, after we wrap up this next documentary, we're going to pour all of our time into the completion of that one. But again, family, I just wanted to give you all the heads up that in anticipation of truth channels being removed from the internet or from YouTube, we just want to let you all know to subscribe to some of our other channels so that you don't miss us. We'll be covering, like I said, education and business and things of that nature. We'll be having a question question and answer channel for those who are tied to our ministry, so that everything is not always placed under like our broadcast channel. Certain specific questions we can address better if you put them on our question and answer channel. Or you can put them on the broadcast channel too, but we'll probably answer them over there. So we're trying to separate the channels and diversify. So if something do get shut down, y'all know where we are, you see. And if we do fall off the face of the earth, then you know that something else went down. But anyway, family, that's it for this one. And until we see you again, we love you and shalom.